Tallahassee. We have reached the end of our first week of fall shows here at FSU Weather. I'm meteorologist Jay Carstens.
And I'm student meteorologist Dylan Leith here. We got a lot to talk about in terms of tropics today, but we also have something coming up later on in the show. You're going to be debuting a new segment that's going to be reoccurring every couple of weeks. You want to tell us about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Since I'm the, the resident grad student around here, trying to combine my inner broadcaster and researcher, we're going to be delivering the FSU Weather Research Spotlight, which we're going to be debuting today, interviewing and getting to know some of the faculty and grad students here at Florida State, as well as some of the research that they're up to. So we'll have that later on in the show, as well as, of course, the big story of the week here is the tropics.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be covering that. But actually, the person being spotlighted today is Dr. Allison Wing, and she's actually my professor that I'm taking, and you're grad professor, so it's very fitting that she's going to be doing the first one.
Yeah, it's going to be really exciting to check that out. You'll want to stay tuned for that. We'll have that in about, say, 15 minutes or so for you. But for now, we're going to get things started with our first local look, a quick overview of what's to come for tonight's show with Sarah Converse out at the wall.
Thanks, guys. So here's a little bit sneak peek of that show. So currently, right now, it is 88 degrees. It is mostly cloudy, but look at that feels like temperature, 97 degrees. So it's very warm out. So if you're going out to that block party, it's going to be very muggy conditions out there. Satellite radar, right now, we are fine. We do have some scattered showers and storms. Most of that activity is either west of Tallahassee or up north in Valdosta. So we should be fine for your evening. May see a few sprinkles here and there, but overall, going to be staying dry. Now for Saturday for that football game, going to be 30% chance of those showers, so we will be fine for the Saturday, but look at that temperature, 90 degrees, so it will be hot, so make sure you stay hydrated and always make sure to reapply that sunscreen. Our rain chances will pick up on the Monday for classes to start, so make sure you have that umbrella as you're going out, but staying in that hot and sticky pattern. Now our headlines for today is we're going to be staying in that summer pattern of those hit or miss storms and that hot and sticky pattern. The tropics are staying active, and we will also have your FSU football forecast in just a moment. But for now, I'm going to send it back over to the desk with Jake and Dylan.
Thank you very much, Sarah. We're going to start a new segment as well on this show. It's kind of I was the inspiration. We had the pick your state every week, but we're doing something a little different this year, Jake. What are we doing?
Yeah, we're going to the metro areas here, highlighting some of the various cities around the United States. So essentially zooming in just a little bit here. Yeah. And, well, just like we did on Thursdays last year, it is time to pick the first city for next week.
So go ahead, Jake. Pick the first state, or first metro city. We're doing Atlanta today, so we'll see what we're doing next week. What do you got, Jake?
We're going to Spokane, Washington for the first week.
Spokane, that's going to be interesting. Other side of the country, not weather that we're typically used to. Exactly. So it's definitely going to be different for us, and it's good for all of our meteorologists to experience a little different things here.
Yeah, right near those Cascade Mountains, some fun little topography-induced weather that you see in areas like that. So it's going to be interesting to cover that next week. Again, we'll have Atlanta for you later on in the show. Michael, our team leader for the day, an Atlanta native, so got to get that done for him here to start off. But we're going to go out now to the wall, and I'm going to start off with our first little local forecast here so we can pull up those first set of graphics here. The almanac for today, our high for today was 90 degrees, right on the average for September 7th here. And a theme of really the entire summer around Tallahassee is these above average low temperatures. 75 degrees was our morning low waking up today. So very warm to start most of our days here in Tallahassee to start this month off. Currently we're at 88 degrees, feeling like 97, so that humidity is still a big factor for us. Winds are out of the west right now at 7 miles per hour. Mostly cloudy skies are sticking around, not really too much in the way of rain coverage in the area, thankfully. Although some spots are seeing that, as you see with these lower temperatures, as well as, of course, the icons themselves. 77 degrees in Moultrie, 79 in Thomasville, and 85 with some rumbles of thunder over in Perry. These areas closer to 90 degrees have not really seen any of that rainfall today. The dew point's largely in the 70s. Monticello sticking out as a bit of a sore thumb, although that sensor is, if I'm not mistaken, right next to a lake. So that is why you see those numbers showing up just a little bit higher in that regard, as well as that heat index when you throw that temperature and dew point together, essentially. Feeling like 97 here in Tallahassee, and again, that really, you can really see where those rain showers are affecting places where you see more of these orange, lighter colors, feeling more like the 70s in these areas. As for the satellite and radar, still seeing a couple of scattered showers and storms going essentially from northeast to southwest here, riding slightly along I-10 here. There's one storm we're watching over in Madison County that's going to start tracking towards the Tallahassee area. Hopefully that will fizzle out before the Friday night block party really gets going later on tonight before sundown. If we zoom out, we see some of these broader scale features over the area. A stalled out front over the southeast going to be contributing to some flooding concerns that we'll outline a little bit later on. And then a ridge is going to be building eventually over the western Atlantic, which will help change our wind directions to be largely out of the south and and potentially enhanced rainfall going into the weekend and the early parts of next week. But for the next 24 hours, we're going to be seeing things clearing out overnight tonight. Not really too much in the way of rainfall, just some scattered cloud cover as we wake up for our Saturday morning. And then the threat of some storms start to build back into the picture, with these storms largely moving in out of the south and east, starting to transition towards more of that southerly pattern. For tonight's forecast, we're getting down into the lower 70s in most areas, 72 here in Tallahassee with partly cloudy skies. And for tomorrow, rain chances sticking around for most of the area, a little bit higher off to our west, where these highs will be just a little bit cooler down in those mid to upper 80s in some spots. For football tomorrow, looking like an okay day, 30% chance of rain for us in Tallahassee, starting to increase just a little bit as those southerly winds work their way back into our area, but those temperatures holding constant right around 90 degrees. To go out to the southeast, here's Dylan.
Thank you very much, Jake. We're going to take a look at the southeast, and you mentioned that flooding. We're going to zoom into that just a little bit. But you can really see where this stalled out frontal boundary is located. You see all these cooler temperatures. You see 69 in Lubbock. Shout out to Lexi Birmingham, who's out there. El Paso at 80 degrees, and you can kind of see where these contours are. That's really where that front is located, but it's stalled out now. Not really going to make its way eastward just for a little bit. You do see Shreveport at 79, and that's because they've seen a bit of rain. And as we look into our dew points, you can kind of see the same story. See these lower dew points where that moisture has been moved out of the area in Lubbock and El Paso. But farther on the eastern side, you do have all that moisture still sitting there. We're in that time of year where moisture just filters in and sits around, and we haven't seen much relief, and this is going to be the trend for the next couple of days. Moisture really contributing to a lot of those thunderstorms we'll see on the map in a bit. Heat index, though, that's another part that you want to look at with the moisture and the temperature. You got Houston at 104. The southern part of Texas seeming a lot warmer than the northern part. It's only seeming like 69 degrees in Lubbock. That's because their dew points are very low and their temperatures are much lower as well. So it's not feeling very hot outside. But down on the southern part of Texas, you're going to see those hot, hot, hot temperatures at 104. That's what it feels like outside. And for the farther east part of the southeast, you're really seeing, again, a lot of those warmer temperatures with a lot of moisture and a lot of heat sitting around. As we look at our wind speed, you can kind of see where this stalled out front is. You get these winds out of the south in San Antonio and the winds out of the north in Lubbock. That's that boundary of convergence. And you see parts of Tropical Depression Gordon just a little bit over Little Rock. Looking at the map, though, here's where that frontal boundary is. And we're going to zoom into Texas, and you see this blanket of rain sitting there, and not going to see much relief. And then moving farther eastward, though, you're going to see afternoon showers moving from the Atlantic into the parts of Florida, and staying mostly clear for Alabama and northern Atlanta, but a few pop-up showers, not very well-defined features in that. And looking at our next 24 hours, you do see this rain kind of scamper out to the east, and it starts to fizzle out, but you do see parts of Gordon and Texas still seeing rain stick around for the next couple of days. That's why you have those flash flooding concerns for the next couple of days for them. Looking at tonight's forecast, though, rain situated in Texas behind the front clear, and on the eastern part of the southeast, you do have those rains on the coast, and so that's the trend. And then for tomorrow, it's more of the same kind of a thing. Rain on the eastern part of the coast of the southeast, and then rain more in the central part of Texas. Now let's send it over to the desk with Sarah and Jake.
Thank you, Dylan. We're going to be getting back into our local picture in a little bit more detail later on in the show, but this is basically the 8 minutes of tropics fun that we're going to start getting into here, because besides what we're going to be outlining in our full tropics look with Dylan in a little while, we still got plenty of disturbances in other basins that are definitely worth watching.
Yes, especially in the Pacific. They started out with a big bang with bringing a lot of storms, one after the other, where they're already at O, and they're probably going to be already at P. They have another disturbance behind Olivia that has a 90% chance in the next 5 days.
Yeah, it's a very active season here. The most active season we had back in the East Pacific was all the way back in 1994, and this is going to try to make a run if we can keep getting these storms going to really push that. Olivia is a storm worth watching right now. It's a very strong hurricane, expected to weaken pretty substantially over the next few days, but could pose a bit of a strong wind and surf as well as a rainfall threat for Hawaii. We'll keep an eye on that over the next week or so.
Yeah, so that's still far out ahead, but we'll keep you up to date because, you know, we'll probably see some watches and warnings out for Hawaii, some flood warnings out there, probably with all that rain they're getting from the last storm that was over there. Now, in the Western Pacific, we do have a storm, a typhoon out there that is going to be causing some look up to watching out to see that storm.
Yeah, this is Tropical Storm Mangkhut, which just recently formed. It was designated as a tropical depression earlier today, and this is expected to rapidly intensify out in the Western Pacific over the next couple of days or so. Could be a threat to Guam. It's expected to strengthen into a super typhoon, which is the Western Pacific equivalent of a major hurricane.
Yeah, they've been pretty super active too. I think it was Jebai, the other one out there. That was a pretty good, strong typhoon out there. I was watching that. I was like, whoa. I was like seeing the models for that, and just the look of it was just intense.
Yeah, watching another weak disturbance
Yes.
that could bring some enhanced rainfall in parts of Taiwan and China as well. Again, we'll have everything Atlantic in just a little bit, but for now, I'm going to go back out to the wall. We're going to talk about what's going on across the rest of the country. Dylan alluded to this a little bit earlier when it came to the flooding threat across much of the southeast, and this is expanding beyond just that region here, in part due to some of the aftermath of Tropical Storm Gordon. The current conditions nationally, you see this frontal boundary showing up pretty well here when you see these cooler temperatures off behind. Some of this being rain-cooled air in parts of northern Texas, off through Oklahoma and Kansas as well. Only 67 degrees right now in Kansas City with some rain active in these areas. Plenty of moisture out ahead and near this boundary as well. These dew points largely in the 70s through a good chunk of the eastern half of the country, really anywhere south of Kansas City towards Louisville is pretty much right around that 70-degree point or higher. For the most part, a little bit of drier air working into the northern Great Lakes. Here's the wind speed to show you this. The low-pressure system really concentrated here over Arkansas as well as southern Missouri right now. Again, partially the combination of the stalled-out frontal zone as well as the aftermath of Tropical Storm Gordon. These have essentially, if you could say, merged into one sort of system here. So southerly winds in areas like Memphis, but behind it, northerlies off towards Kansas City and Chicago, where there, of course, still is some rainfall in these areas. And here's that satellite and radar to show you that right now. A pretty big swath of rain going all the way down from western Texas through the middle of the country and up into parts of the Midwest, all the way into areas of Ohio even, where we're seeing some big-time flooding concerns for parts of Illinois and Texas, which is where we're going to zoom into right about now. So pretty consistent rainfall been occurring all day just to the west of Dallas, off through San Angelo and down towards Lubbock. Even some spotty showers in parts of South Texas like San Antonio, Austin, and Houston. And we have these pretty big-time flash flood watch and warning concerns in these areas as well. These flash flood warnings are in red just to the east and west of San Angelo. A flash flood watch in the dark green is going to be active through 6 a.m. Central Time tomorrow morning, as well as up in parts of southern Oklahoma. Now we're going to move up to the midwestern portion of the country, sort of sandwiched in between a couple of frontal zones. You see this swath of rainfall slowly creeping off to the south through parts of central Illinois as well as north central Missouri, and this is also prompting some flash flooding concerns in what are actually some pretty heavily populated areas of Illinois outside of Chicago, just to the north of Springfield, as well as over towards Champaign-Urbana, where the University of Illinois is located. Flash flood warning is in effect for these areas, as well as, again, these flash flood watches in dark green and river flooding concerns as well, these lighter green colors, even parts of the Mississippi River to the north and to the south of St. Louis, Missouri. And even off towards the east here, that's a funny way to spell Philadelphia right here, but big time rain off in northern Virginia moving in towards Washington, D.C. A couple severe warnings have been out with these storms over the past, say, a couple of hours or so, but the flooding threat is still there with these storms as well, as these are some pretty slow moving clusters of rain. As for the BMW Championship out in Philadelphia for Saturday, 60% chance of rain, largely in the morning. Those temperatures are going to be starting off in the mid 60s and getting up towards about 71 degrees in the afternoon. And then for Sunday, 67 degrees going to be your high, with, again, rain in the picture here, so not exactly the ideal weekend to get in some golf. Could make scoring a little bit more difficult after, of course, Tiger Woods shot that 29 to start off the day on Thursday. A pretty remarkable start for him there. For tonight's forecast across the country, the warmth sticking around for much of the eastern half of the country. 74 degrees in Memphis, 72 in Louisville, and as we move up towards the northeast, 62 with partly cloudy skies over in Boston. And as for tomorrow, you really see that rain cooling continuing in parts like Louisville, where it's down to 76 degrees, a bit cooler and more pleasant in parts of the central plains off towards the upper Midwest, only 70 degrees in Chicago. But now for the tropical look, here's Dylan.
Thank you very much, guys. We're going to take a look at the tropics, and it's been very active in the last couple of days, and we're starting to see more of a picture of what it's looking like, so we're going to jump into that. We got 4 areas of interest. We got Invest 94L just today that they declared that an Invest. Then you have Tropical Storm Florence that was a major hurricane but has now been downgraded as it moved into an area of unfavorable conditions. We'll look at that just a little bit. Then Tropical Depression 9, which just came in before the show. And then Tropical Depression 8, which was there for a little bit. So we're going to track all of these, and we're going to start with Florence. Florence not looking very impressive right now. It did look impressive for a little bit, but it has died down as it moved into an area with some shear, which pushes those clouds up and allows not a lot of formation to happen. But as we look at the track of it, you see this big track. And the thing to keep in mind is this is a cone of uncertainty. This storm can go anywhere in this cone. It's 5 days out. We have any possibility. There is a threat to possibly the eastern seaboard of the United States, but again, we don't know where this is making landfall. The point of this is to make sure you are prepared anywhere in the U.S. for any hurricanes. Make sure you have food, supplies, and a plan if anything goes wrong. Just want to make sure we're letting you know it is supposed to intensify into a Category 4 hurricane, but just be aware and things might change in the next couple of days. Moving on over to Invest 94L, this is only a 20% chance of development in the next 5 days, so not a real threat, but might leave some unfavorable conditions for Florence, which is good for us here. Then moving down farther to Tropical Depression 9, not looking too well defined as well, and that's not really going to develop in the next couple of days, only into a tropical storm and into a Category 1. Affecting the Antilles Islands for the next couple of days. But again, this is another track of uncertainty. It could go anywhere. Stay ahead with the information. And then finally, we want to look at Tropical Depression 8, some tropical storm warnings for Cordo Verde, and that's going to be in effect, and this will move out into the Atlantic, not be a real threat to the U.S., but again, it is still far out. So thank you for tuning in. Now we're going to send it over to the research that Jake had done with Dr. Wing.
Allison Wing is the newest member of the FSU meteorology faculty, starting in spring 2017. Her interest in the field was fueled at a young age when 1991's Hurricane Bob affected the northeastern U.S. while she was on a family vacation in Cape Cod. Dr. Wing's work broadly revolves around tropical convection, tropical cyclones, and climate. On her way to FSU, she was able to work with and learn from some of the best in the business.
I went to Cornell University for undergrad and majored in atmospheric science. And while I was in college, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to do a summer research internship, actually at Columbia University. And there I had my first experience doing research, and it was actually a project studying hurricanes with scientists there. So therefore I went to graduate school and got a PhD from MIT, where I worked with Carrie Emanuel, who's one of the world's renowned hurricane experts, and studied tropical meteorology there.
Among Dr. Wing's current projects is an International Model Intercomparison Project, or MIP, which aims to address several questions about the climate system.
And so we're not trying to model a forecast for the next couple of weeks. We're not trying to make a prediction for next century. We're setting up the models under this idealization of the tropical atmosphere, where we just assume that the amount of sunlight coming in heats the atmosphere, and that balances how much the Earth cools and how much convection moves energy around. And that's good because it kind of makes things much more simple, which means we can use that as a tool to answer some really basic fundamental questions about climate, about how clouds change with warming. In a warmer atmosphere, do we have more clouds? Do we have fewer clouds? Are they higher? Are they lower? We're going to study how clouds and convection systems are clustered together. So we know from experience here in Florida that sometimes we have thunderstorms sort of scattered about, and other times they're organized into bigger clumps, like a mesoscale convective system. And so how much those clouds are clumped and clustered together is actually really important for how much rain we have, what the humidity distribution looks like, and they affect the climate system as well through the effect on the Earth's energy budget. And so the other question we want to answer with these model intercomparison is, how does that clustering of convection change with warming? How does it vary from model to model? Do some models cluster clouds together more than other models? How does that affect the other properties of their simulations?
As a professor at FSU, Dr. Wing has taught courses in atmospheric dynamics, along with a graduate level course that addresses the impact of the climate system on extreme weather events. She has also done research to examine tropical cyclone formation and intensity, and has brought 3 graduate students on board to work with her. Clearly, one of the brightest and most versatile young minds that Florida State has to offer.
Thanks, Jake. That was very informative. It's really cool to see what our professors here at FSU are doing, but we're going to go over to Metro Atlanta. And right now, current conditions are still being muggy and warm, as we have Atlanta at 82 and 84 in Dallas, so still staying in that hot, humid pattern. As we get into those dew points, on the fence of that mugginess, you can feel the moisture in the air, so almost like you're swimming through the air, but you can still feel it out and about. That's why these heat index are slowly starting to go down, but they were warmer before, earlier at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock at this time. 86 right now at Atlanta. Peachtree City still staying warm at 95. And as we head over to our winds and wind speed, all the wind is coming out from an east to west flow. We have a few spots in Lawrenceville at 8 miles per hour, so it's sort of cooling down these temperatures, and that's why we look into our satellite and radar. These storms are moving in an east to west fashion, moving these storms, scattered showers and storms into the Atlanta area. But the good news is when we get into our future casts, your evening out and about, if you're going out on the town, will clear up, maybe a few sprinkles, but overall will clear up for your evening. And then for tomorrow, on Saturday, your morning should be clear out, maybe a few passing clouds. So a good day to go out and spend your weekend. As we move on in through the afternoon time, 3 o'clock, around 3 to 4 o'clock, we're going to see another round of those scattered showers and storms. So make sure you have that umbrella with you as you're going out and about. Now for tonight forecast, we're going to be in the 70s, 72 in Atlanta, 70 in Marietta. So all around pretty cool in those low 70s and a few higher 60s. And if you're going out to the Atlanta Gulf forecast, we're going to slowly get in, be fine at 72, but we're going to quickly warm up to 87. So very warm out if you're going out, so make sure you stay hydrated. We will see those scattered showers and storms if you're going out engulfing. So for tomorrow's forecast, going to be staying in that hot and humid pattern, 89 in Atlanta and 88 in Carlton. So overall going to be pretty warm around in the metro Atlanta area. But for now, I'm going to head over to Des, bringing it back home into the Tallahassee area with some events with Dylan.
Thank you very much, Sarah. We're going to talk about some local events coming up. We have tonight Friday Night Block Party, which I attended last week, which is actually not on a Friday night. It was Sunday Friday Night Block Party because we had the football game on Monday. If you want to head out, it's in College Town. It takes place from 6 to 10 p.m. This week's performer is, I forgot their name right now, sorry.
Oh, I wouldn't know. But I'll always go out. I know my friend's going to that. And also we do have the game on Saturday. We'll have FSU versus Sanford at 7:20 p.m. The gates open at 5 p.m. So if you're going out on the game, so root for us. Hopefully we win this game.
Yeah.
But hopefully, we'll see.
Hopefully it is better than last week's game where that was, we're not going to talk about it. If you want to go early, though, you can see the Skull Session, which is the FSU band that comes out early on the baseball field and plays their songs. So if you want to see what they're up to and listen to some good music, that's always a good time. That takes place at 5:30. So if you are going to the game early, you want something to do, that's always an option.
Yeah, especially even if you're not even a football fan, just going out to see the Marching Chiefs. They're like really good. I love the Marching Chiefs.
The world-class Marching Chiefs. They are absolutely amazing. Best part of FSU football games for sure.
Yes, definitely. And then we also have FSU's women's soccer. They're playing tonight and on Sunday. UF tonight and South Alabama on Sunday.
Yeah, and I'm going to head out to that game. Jake, who's just on the show, is heading out to the game just about now. But that is a fun time. They've only allowed 1 goal in 6 games. FSU women's soccer team doing very, very well. They played USC last weekend and UCLA as well. This weekend we got UF, and then we got Southern Alabama on Sunday for another game.
Yeah, so that's good. At least one of our sports teams is doing well. And then we also have FSU volleyball. We're playing against Virginia Commonwealth tonight at 6. And then also we're playing against Southern Miss and Florida A&M on Saturday.
Yeah, they got a doubleheader. Unfortunately, they're playing during the football game, so stinks for them.
You gotta have to pick and choose who you want to see, but still root for both. I mean,
great.
Go Noles.
Go Noles. But I'm going to take it out to take a look at the local look. We're going to look at current conditions right now. 88 degrees outside, but feeling just about 9 degrees warmer outside. 97 degrees is your feels like temperature. Wind speed down from about 12 miles per hour a little bit earlier to 7, so it's not as windy outside. And then you do see conditions seem mostly cloudy, but that's not too bad. It's keeping a little cooler feeling outside. As we go into our current conditions throughout the region, you do see a lot of uniform. Multier is at 75 degrees right now. They're seeing rain, and that's why they're a little cooler. Same with Camilla at 76 degrees. And then down by the coast, staying relatively clear, not a lot of clouds, staying nice cool conditions, nice enough for the beach, but not too bad. As we look at our current dew points, you see moisture still throughout the region. You see a lot of the moisture really prevalent throughout, and that's not going to change for the next couple of days. We've seen this moisture sit here, and we're going to see the moisture still sit here as well. Wind speeds dominantly out of the east, which has been a shift from those southerly winds, though we do see a little bit of southerly winds by Apalachicola and Caribou at 9 and 2 miles per hour. But this is bringing storms off the Atlantic into our area instead of those afternoon sea breeze these fronts that we've been seeing a lot of the summer. And you can see these storms move eastward. We do see some firing up just east of Leon County right now, so they might come over to our area and dump a little bit of rain, but they'll move out pretty quickly, as we've seen with a lot of these storms. Not sticking around too long, and we've seen this pattern for the last couple of days. Moving into what your night's going to look like, we're going to see those storms kind of wind down as we get about to 11 p.m. The clouds still present, and as we go out throughout the night, you're going to still see those clouds present, but no rain coming into our radar and waking up at 8 a.m. If you're crazy enough to wake up at 8 a.m. on a weekend, you're going to see nice conditions outside, but as we get into the afternoon, you're going to see those rain droplets come back. They're not really droplets, the little popcorny showers coming back into our area, and they're going to stick around and threaten a little bit of rain before the game, but not too bad. For tonight, though, most of the storms are before sunset, and once that sun goes down, that daytime heating's done, and you're going to see those storms fizzle out. 73 degrees, not very windy. Pretty pleasant night in Tallahassee. As we go into tomorrow, though, less of a rain chance as we've seen the last couple of days, only a 30% chance of rain, isolated thunderstorms, and only 87 degrees. We're getting back into those 80s instead of the 90s. And then moving into your golf forecast, not looking like a bad day, starting off the morning pretty well, and then in the afternoon, you do see those rain chances come back. And then the big forecast, your football game, kickoff at 7:20. We do see those temperatures at 85 degrees. Mostly rain before sunset, and your 7-day forecast is more of a copy-paste forecast because it's basically the same thing. Rain chances every day, 90-degree highs, 70-degree lows. So key thing, have your rain jacket on you, but don't worry, it's still hot outside, and we're seeing most of the same for the next week, so it's a lot of similar patterns. Sarah, what do you think?
Yeah, it's basically, I know before when we were going over, it's basically what you said, copy and paste. It's basically copy and paste.
It's pretty similar. It was like that yesterday. It's going to be like that for a little bit. We're going to start to see some pattern shifts as we get into October and November. We are at the peak of hurricane season just about now, so we want to remind folks at home to be prepared and just have a plan ready just in case anything happens. It's better to be overly prepared than be underprepared and trying to fight with other people to get water bottles at the last minute.
Yeah, I remember when we had those hurricanes come through in Tallahassee. I was trying to find soup and water, and everything was just gone because everyone was in pure panic.
Right, exactly. No one's panicking now just yet, so you want to go when it's calm and not have to worry too much and stock up just a little bit.
And the good thing about stocking up is some of the stuff that you buy lasts for a while, and you can always use it. So if the hurricane season we don't get anything, you can still use it in the future.
Right, water is always good.
Yes,
water
doesn't
barely
expire. Doesn't expire.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Honey as well. But good things are happening here. We're seeing the same rain chances for the next couple of days. Hot and humid is the key word on every day it's there.
Hot and sticky.
Yeah, it's not great, but hey, it's not too bad. I can't complain. It's not raining every moment of the day, only just a little bit.
Yeah, so always just make sure you do have that umbrella with you, because as you know in Tallahassee, I always tell everyone, all the freshmen when they come in, bring your umbrella with you, even if it's sunny out. Just bring it with you.
Exactly. I actually found out my rain jacket folds into a little bag and now goes in my backpack. It was kind of fun to just discover that I can actually put it away easier instead of just throwing it in a backpack for about a day. But a little umbrella will just go a long way here.
Yeah, definitely. So for the football game, always make sure to stay hydrated and just know it's going to be muggy out.
Exactly. And remember, for the football game, you cannot bring an umbrella in. Rain jackets are the only thing allowed. So just a note for that. And the clear bag policy still stands for the game tomorrow. But hey, follow us on social media.
Yeah, we got Twitter, we have Facebook, we have YouTube streaming live, so you always have us on all those social media.
Yeah, and we're also on Instagram, and you can also watch all our old broadcasts on YouTube as well. We archive all of them there. So if you want to see yesterday's show, you can do that if you want.
Yeah, definitely. It's really cool. And also send us your cool football pics for Instagram just to give us something we can even put on the show one day.
Yeah, exactly. But for all of us here at FSU Weather, I'm student meteorologist Dylan Leith.
And I'm student meteorologist Sarah Converse. Have a great night.
Stay classy, Tallahassee.